A few years ago, California quietly changed one of the most important property tax protections that families had relied on for decades. Most people didn't fully understand what happened until the tax bills started arriving. Now, if you've inherited a home in Sonoma County or you're planning your estate right now, what I'm about to share could save your family tens of thousands of dollars. So let's get into it. Hello, I'm Chris Spade, a certified probate specialist with Keller Williams, and I work right here in Sonoma County helping families navigate the real estate side of probate and trust administration. Quick note before we dive in, I'm a real estate professional, not an attorney. Everything I share is just general educational information on this channel. It's about the probate process and the California property tax law. Now, for advice about your specific situation, always work with a qualified probate attorney and a CPA. So today we're going to talk about property taxes and how specifically Proposition 13 and Proposition 19 interact when a family member passes away and leaves behind a home. This is one of the topics I get asked about the most, and it's one where everyone's pretty much getting it wrong or getting wrong information or no information at all. And it can cost a family dearly. So let's start with Proposition 13. Back in 1978, California voters passed Proposition 13, and it fundamentally changed the property tax landscape in the state. So here's what it did. When you purchased a home, your property tax is set based on your purchase price, your assessed value. Prop 13 capped how much assessment that value could increase each year at no more than 2%, regardless of what the actual market was doing. So think about what that means for a place like Sonoma County. A family who bought a home in Santa Rosa in 1978 for $85,000 might be paying property taxes based on an assessed value of $180,000 today, even though that same home is now worth $1.3 million on the open market. Now, in most cases, property taxes move with the market. Here in California, Prop 13 protected homeowners from being taxed out of their homes that they had owned for decades as values skyrocketed around them. And here's what made it even more powerful for families. Under the old rules, when a parent passed away and left their home to their children, those children could file a simple document, a parent-child exclusion, and keep the property's low assessed value and the inherited home and the low property taxes. For many Sonoma County families, that low tax basis was worth tens of thousands of dollars, and it was generational wealth transfer built right into the tax code. Then came Proposition 19. In November 2020, California voters passed Proposition 19, and it took effect on February 16, 2021, and it changed everything for inherited properties. Here's the new rule, stated as plainly as I can. If you inherit a home and you do not move into it as your primary residence, the county assesses the property at its current full market value. The old tax base your parents had built up over decades, gone. It's completely reset. Now let me put real numbers to this so that way you can see what it means. Now, the Johnson family is a family I want you to picture because their situation is playing out all across Sonoma County right now. They inherited a 1950s bungalow. Their parent had been paying $1,500 a year in property taxes under the old Prop 13 protection. The home is now worth $1.1 million, and at the time of death under Proposition 19, because no family member moved into it as their primary residence, the county reassessed the home at $1.1 million. The new annual property tax bill is over $12,000 a year. That's more than $10,500 more every single year than their parent had been paying. Not a one-time hit, it's an every year, indefinitely hit. Now, for family members that plan to rent the property or keep it as a vacation home or simply hold on to it while they figured out next steps, this kind of tax increase can make the decision for them. Many families still have to be forced to sell properties that they desperately wanted to keep simply because the carrying cost became unmanageable overnight. There is one way out of it, but you have to act fast. Proposition 19 does include one meaningful exemption if the heir moves into the inherited home and establishes it as their primary residence. The property tax reassessment can be avoided or significantly limited, and this is exactly what the Reyes family did. The Reyes family inherited a home that had been their parents' primary residence. They looked at the numbers, they looked at the tax impact, and one family member made the decision to move into the home and establish it as their primary residence. By doing this, they kept the original low property tax base, and the home stayed in the family. The tax bill stayed manageable. It sounds simple, and the concept is simple, but the execution requires timing. There are deadlines for establishing a primary residence to qualify for the exemption. Waiting too long forfeits it entirely, and not every family member who has a position to move. Some of them already own their own home. Maybe they inherited a property in a different city. Maybe their family dynamics make it complicated. So there are several obstacles that real Sonoma County families are really dealing with right now. So if you're in a probate situation today and the property hasn't been reassessed yet, this is a conversation that needs to happen immediately, not next month, not after the estate closes. Now, you need to talk to your probate attorney about the primary residence option before that window closes. The other side of Prop 19, who it actually helps. So I want to be fair to Proposition 19 because it is designed not purely to hurt families. There is a group of Californians that it generally helps. And some of them are right here in Sonoma County. So if you're over 55 years old, severely disabled, or the victim of a wildfire or other natural disaster, and in Sonoma County, we have lived through some of the most devastating wildfires in California history. Proposition 19 allows you to take your low property tax base with you when you move. Now you can transfer it to a replacement home anywhere in the state of California, and unlike the old rules, you can even transfer it to a more expensive home. Under the previous law, you could only transfer the base of the home to equal or lesser value, and only within the same county or a handful of participating counties. Prop 19 opened that up significantly. And for a fire survivor that lost everything and is trying to rebuild their life, the portability of their tax basis is genuinely meaningful. So Prop 19 has two faces. It opened the doors for some homeowners while closing doors for other families trying to preserve inherited properties. So what does this mean for planning? If you're currently going through a probate dealing with one or an inherited property or a window preserving reassessment may still be open, but only if a family member can move into the home and meet the primary residence requirements. This is a conversation you need to have with your probate attorney right now. If you're doing your own estate planning, you could own a Sonoma County home and you could want to leave it to your children one day. Proposition 19 needs to be part of that conversation with your estate planning attorney and your CPA. The strategies that protected families before 2021 no longer work the same way. There's still planning tools available, trust structures, gifting strategies, careful timing, but they need to be put into place now while you have options, not after you're gone when it's way too late. So the bottom line is this: Proposition 19 changed the rules for inherited properties in California permanently, and understanding those rules and planning around them is one of the most important things Sonoma County families can do right now. So whether you're in the middle of a probate, simply thinking about your own legacy, you need to act now. So if you're dealing with an inherited property in Sonoma County and you're not sure how Proposition 19 affects your situation, or you want to understand your options before it's too late, reach out to me directly. My name is Chris Spade with Keller Williams Realty. I am a certified probate specialist serving families throughout Sonoma County. The link to my contact information is in the description below, and please share this video with anyone you know who has inherited a home or is thinking about their estate plan. This information families genuinely need, and most of them won't even find out about it until it's too late and the tax bill arrives. So let's change that. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.